Even as it continues to gather asbestos from a mine in Quebec for sale around the world, for years Canada's been scraping asbestos out of buildings, including Parliament and 24 Sussex. Like other forms of asbestos, Canadian-mined chrysotile has been linked to cancer. Asked during the recent election campaign how Canada can justify the contrast, the Prime Minister indicated that as long as countries are willing to buy it, he won't stand in the way.
And this government will not put Canadian industry in a position where it is discriminated against in a market where sale is permitted.
But documents obtained by CBC News show there's been conflict behind the scenes of government over asbestos going as far back as 2006. That's when there was a global move to add asbestos to the Rotterdam Convention as a hazardous substance. It would mean that before Canada could sell asbestos to any other country, it would have to tell buyers about the risks and the need to handle it properly to keep people safe. The documents show Health Canada was in favor. Health Canada's preferred position would be to list, let people know about the substance so they have the information they need through prior informed consent to ensure they handle and use the substance correctly. But it's clear in the same documents, Health Canada feared they'd be overruled. Acknowledged the final decision will not be made on the basis of health alone. That's a nod to Ottawa's other consideration, $90 million in export sales of Canadian asbestos every year, all of it from Quebec. The Department of Natural Resources, until recently led by Christian Paradis, whose riding includes a part of Quebec that mines asbestos, warned that adding the product to the Rotterdam list could lead to a relatively high risk of creating a trade barrier and be perceived as encouraging a ban of the substance. The Chrysotile Institute, based in Montreal, speaks for the industry. It's received millions in government funding and says there's no need to say anything about chrysotile before selling it because, if handled properly, it's safe.
The declared objective of the people who are pushing for inclusion of chrysotile in that convention is to ban the substance worldwide. And this would be a move in that direction, but that move is totally unwarranted.
Ultimately, Canada was able to keep asbestos off the Rotterdam list in 2006 with the support of countries such as Iran, Zimbabwe, and India. Health Canada remarked again in 2008, Canada is the only developed country that has repeatedly opposed placing chrysotile on a prior informed consent. This Ottawa doctor, who's part of a group fighting Canada's sales abroad, says the government has let business trump health.
Clearly, there's a political decision above that overruled the health imperative and kept it off the list.
Now, as countries prepare to discuss the issue again, Canada is saying nothing publicly about whether its position has changed. In a statement to CBC News, the government says it's currently preparing its positions, but the clearest indication may be the Prime Minister's endorsement of the Canadian asbestos industry mere weeks ago.